everybody. Welcome back to DFW Metal Mayhem, the most brutal podcast in the Metroplex. I've noticed that every time I say it the exact same way, and I remember when I started this, I was like, I'm never going to say it the same way every time. And here we are, like 54, 55 episodes in, and I literally say almost the exact same way.
It's the habit.
It's the habit. So, I am joined by 1/5 of Weapon of Regret.
What's up, everybody?
Mr. Brandon Colin. Sir, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, man. It's a pleasure.
I appreciate it. So, I kind of want to get into first thing going off, you are one of the guitar players in the band.
Correct.
I normally have people introduce themselves and what they do, but might as well just throw it out there for you. So give us a quick little history 101 of Weapon of Regret, like the humble beginnings and where it all began.
Let's go back to, I guess, 2012, 2013, somewhere in there. And, I had played guitar, but never really took it seriously and started jamming with all these other guys. And one after another, whether it be a drummer or a guitarist, you start to pick up and, learn different techniques, get a little bit better as time goes on. I remember, Mike, our current guitarist, the lead guitarist right now, I played with him probably a year prior to us meeting again is when Weapon of Regret started. I was with a different drummer. We went out to his house. I remember walking in and Mike's like, playing this Les Paul and everything and just shredding. And I was like, holy crap. I don't think I'll be able to like hold a key, to this guy or hold a tune to him. And I wasn't, we left it at that. Take, another year, and we're sitting here jamming, and I run into Mike at a bar. I'd been going around to all these different places, jamming with different musicians, and running into Mike. And I was like, you know what, dude, do you want to start a band? Like, let's go back to my place and, just trade licks. And we did. We were at one of my friend's shows and just ended up blowing that. Went home, started playing, and nearly every day, Mike started coming over. Like, I had this job, it was from 7 to 4. And I get home, and Mike's already there waiting on me, ready to work on the next song or the next riff. I'm like, holy crap, but I never got mad. It was always, this is a good push right here. This is what you got to have, and it was a good fire starter. So we finally get, maybe five songs down, and we start recruiting, different bandmates to come in, whether it's bass, drums, and vocals. We had what we wanted set, a vision as far as what sound was going to be, and we picked up Adam Flores, and he would come from Tyler every weekend, jam with us. Yeah, Tyler to Kearns, Texas. So
Tyler, Texas, and Joshua, Texas, are two cities that are way out the Metroplex that have a lot of really just talented people that just come into the Metroplex and just blow shit up.
Yeah,
like
exactly right.
Carlos Sevilla, and Exploder, Andrew Huff from Sword to Sword and singer for Stynex. It's nuts. And everyone from fucking Joshua. I mean, there's a fucking long list of people from Joshua too. So it's just crazy how out of the Metroplex.
So many musicians that are just like, oh yeah, I'm from Tyler, And Adam is originally, mostly everybody in the band, they're from Navarro County. He was up there with a buddy from college at the time. Everybody's from Navarro County. So we get Adam in, solidify him as our drummer. We go ahead and grab my friend Johnny. He plays bass for us. And we found this cat, Matt, who last year you jammed with us. He was the bald-headed guy. And you got to jam with that Weapon of Regret.
Yeah.
We picked him up off a whim. He lived down the street from me, and I went to a house party of his and heard him singing, doing scream vocals, just gutturals, all this. And I was like, holy hell, this is what we need right here,
And live right next to the studio.
Yeah, so, and he was in to rap the whole time, but would just sing karaoke all the time to different stuff. We heard him and brought him in. Everybody, after a couple of takes with him, was like, okay, that's our guy. And we fast forward a little bit, I'd say 6 months, and we didn't have any shows going, we had all our songs down. Mike ended up moving to Louisville for a little bit, so we were like, what the hell? He got into a little trouble and decided to move to Louisville. He comes back calls us up and he's like, "You guys never found a guitarist, right?" And I'm like, "No, we didn't. You know, it's kind of scarce down there. Of course, you can't. Or to get somebody to even drive where we're at." Mm-hmm. And he goes, "Hey, I booked us a show at the Curtain Club it was like February 11th, and we were doing a national act with Cane Hill."
Holy shit!
Mm-hmm. That was our first show, and that was with Cane Hill, Dispositions, and the Optimist. So
that was right around when Cane Hill was really hitting their stride.
Yeah, they were doing the, I don't know what tour that was for them, but I mean that's when they were about to hit the peak.
Yeah.
And rise from there. And now ever since, I see them everywhere. They're on the rise right now. Really good band, nice guys. But yeah, I would like to say that's probably the first start for Weapon of Regret. Right then and there, that's when it happened. You get that first taste for blood, and we start picking up shows and just getting whatever we could.
Yeah, we first played together during Joshua's memorial show, and we played the second day, which, when you looked at the 2 days and you put them together, you were like, man, they did put all the really, 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 really strong, well-known big hitters on day one.
They did.
And I'm like, man, can we just buy like one or two of those guys throw up on the Saturday one? We were supposed to play the Friday one originally, but we kind of moved to Saturday to the request of Tracy. I forgot for the exact reason. But I didn't mind it, actually. The second one was actually very successful as well. We opened it up. I think you guys were next to last?
Somewhere in the middle, yeah.
Yeah,
it was somewhere there. We're like third or fourth, I think.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Actually, you're right. Next to last, that's what it was, and it was like a Stanix. Was that?
Stanix, yeah, they were the absolute.
Stanix, yeah, they were up next.
Yeah, they were the last one. I mean, they were hard. I mean, they're a big, hard-hitting, like head-moving band. But like, man, like EV and Chemicals and Iron Draw on one night. The night, man,
legends
nuts.
Already,
Nuts right there. But no, it was really successful. I was a really big fan of you guys. I thought you all guys did a really good job.
As was I with Skull Archer, man.
I appreciate it. But man, it's crazy because now looking at that lineup and now looking at this one now, I feel like we're on a completely different level than we were back then.
Yes. Yes.
So
I feel improvements had to be made where they were.
Mm-hmm.
If any progress was to move forward, and last August, I think right after that show, that's when we got our good standing in with like, hey, we can do this. That was a good show at Reno's, good crowd, and I think we played the Curtain Club, and that ended up being a packed out one. People went nuts being the only metal band on the card. It was one of those Curtain Club thrown together, different music genres, right? Mm-hmm. And we decided to take a little break, and again, you want to run into musicians, I guess go to your local bar. They're there waiting, and I run into Noah. We had known each other when we were younger, and he had always been in bands doing music. Mm-hmm. I think the last thing he was doing was probably jazz or something like that.
Oh, shit.
And just, ultimately walked away from that. And pretty much I recruited him, and we did a couple of takes with him at the house and said, hey, let's bring on Noah.
What is it with jazz and metal? Because I was talking, earlier I had, a couple weeks ago, I had Chris on the podcast, and big influence by jazz. And I talked to a lot of people recently that just really, really dive in on the jazz. I like me some jazz.
Right.
But man, I have never seen the level of just hardcore fandom that in pure inspiration that it brings into metal. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's something I've never stepped into. A lot of people like Mastodon these days, and Noah's one of them. And I always get that from my friend Fred. It's like, dude, they're too jazzy for me, and I understand. It's something I never jumped into, you know what I mean? But I can see how maybe it can help technique or bring you into,
It's
what
funny
a guitar
because
player.
I agree with you on Mastodon, but I'm like so much balls deep in the Gojira. I am so deep in the Gojira.
Very talented band.
Dude, I remember like one of the most random yet hilarious memes I've ever saw was of that, like that meme where they would like take someone's like facial expression and just like, it would be like red and like with like the glowing eyes, so you're just like, ah.
Yeah.
I remember like it was like Gojira fans, and it was like Gojira fans like whales existing, and it was just, it made no sense, but God, when I was really high and I saw that, I laughed my ass off for like at least 5 minutes. But but yeah, going back to it, I think you're right. I think the technique and the various techniques in jazz and the approach to writing in jazz can definitely be translated into metal in a lot of different ways. And I mean, including punk and core in some ways too.
Mm-hmm.
Though I'm definitely not as educated on those two. But I did want to bring up one thing though, and I said it in the promotion post. I always respect bands that kind of meld everywhere. Like, we've never played a hardcore show.
Mm-hmm.
We've never played a punk show. I would like to.
Right.
But I mean, you guys have. You guys have played with hardcore bands. You have played a mostly hardcore show. You guys are pretty well known in that community just as much as you're well known in the metal community.
Right.
Like Exhortation is another band that does that. Collapse of the Chaos is another band that does that. And it's awesome to see. It's awesome to see bands that are able to reach people
Mm-hmm.
in all communities. And I really feel like, though you guys may not think of it this way, I really guys think that you guys are making a really big deal about it. And the reason why is because when you do these shows, you're in a way you can slowly start building bridges within these communities. And so all this stupid high tension elitist bullshit can kind of get fucking muffled out. You know what I mean? Obviously, you're always going to have your people that stick to their camps, and that's cool. They can do that. But I feel like, in a way, you, Exhortation, Collapse into Chaos, are opening these bridges for people to walk across. And it's absolutely stellar.
Right. Dude, we should all just stick together when it comes to metal. You know what I mean? There's been instances, and it all goes back to getting your hands on whatever you can get. You know, we didn't know when we first started like how the scene was and who to play with and who not to play with, who to book with. You know, I remember one time at the Rail Club. Chris Camp was my booker, and he brought us on. Never really heard us before, and brought us on with In Death from Australia. These are all hardcore bands. Another one was Repaid in Blood and Casket Robbery.
I heard Casket Robbery.
Okay, we played with them, and Chris was like, "Man, I don't know how good of a job I did booking this show because you're about to find out, how heavy these bands really are." And I took that as an insult, like, you know what? We're not scared, we'll play with anybody pretty much. I mean, and those curtain club shows where it's all mixed up, where it's, jazz, pop, all that stuff, we've done those too in the past, but we try to keep it strictly metal. But it's like, who do you play with really? How do you create the perfect show for your genre when you don't generally know?
Yeah, like Joseph isn't a big guy in hardcore, but he loves you guys. Like you got like Weapon of Regret makes a lot of appearances on DMS shows. You guys even did one of the tree showcases recently, which that's awesome. I've always wanted to do a tree showcase myself.
That was very fun.
Yeah,
that was very fun to do.
Especially when you don't have to open for other bands on that stage, like national acts. So because normally when you see local bands open up for national bands on that stage, it seems like a really small stage. But man,
it is actually. I mean, you get up there and it's not what you expected. You know? It's like,
so think about when they have all the other bands have their equipment on there, and you get like that tiny wiggle room, and you're like, I can't even move. But man, you get some relief when it's just a local showcase.
True that. Yeah. I mean, we pretty much got there and just had to backline, and half your stuff stays outside with one of the guys just watching over it, and you can only hope he doesn't walk away from his post.
Oh shit, yeah, because that's like walking up and down fucking Elm Street, and someone just I doubt anyone would be able to successfully do it, but someone would try. Someone would try.
Have some balls, man, just to do that.
Dude, Deep Elm has people that have balls the size of fucking mountains, though.
This is true.
It's nut. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous just how crazy people are over there. But the thing is, like, we hear all these stories and we see all these news stories and shit. We're in the community a lot. But, man, I guess I'm just missing out because I miss all the crazy shit.
Right. It never comes our way, when we're down there. No. I've had people, that tell me, you just got to tell these people to fuck off, man, if they get in your face or whatever it may be, these crazies walking around. But I've never had to have that problem. It's always been a smooth ride through Deep Elm every time.
Yeah, I do remember there's a lot of shows where, because I believe we played again together, but though it wasn't the same stage time. It was the same night. We played the Suicide Awareness show where you guys were upstairs, we were downstairs. And the great thing is we were able to catch each other's sets. Because the sets are kind of construed in a way where we can all at least try to catch some of our sets before we go on.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. I kind of felt bad for Beer Break because the band that got the last second booking, because Confused wasn't able to make it, had all the crowd in Beer Break, so they were performing for like 6 people. I'm like,
oh man.
Beer Break, come on.
Oberon was supposed to be there, right? And they never.
They were first night. They're there.
Oh, were they the first night? I guess they got.
No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of something else. Yeah, unfortunately, they were not able to make it out.
Yeah, talented band.
Oh, super talented, super nice people too. Mm-hmm. And man, if you want to talk about how to make an album like book cover and like illustrations and shit, you just look at Pale Blue Dot. Like that's like in my opinion the way that you construct a CD like bookcase with the songs and lyrics and all that shit. It's beautiful. Sometimes you get like the people that kind of just give you like the little slick plastic thing, and it's like there's the CD. You get like the band, the album name, and the songs, and that's it.
Right.
And it's like, man, but I wanna know the lyrics. I wanna know like.
Right. What's the artwork that coincides with this album?
Exactly,
what is the name of this?
Exactly. Oh well, beggars can't be choosers. But yeah, I will say from the time that I first saw you, and I think the last time I saw you was in June when you guys did the wrestling match. Holy shit, we're not going to talk about that night.
That was an insane night.
Yes.
Oh man.
Oh no, I bet the bands were great. I wish I could remember.
They were. It was a good time.
I do remember Combat being great for the time I was there.
Oh man, yeah, you did make it back for that. You were a champ, dude. Our friend Fred apologizes as well, so for the incident.
Oh, okay, yeah. Good.
I'm sure he'll see this for sure, and he'll be like, "All right, it's cool, it's good."
Yeah. That was wild shit. In hindsight, man, there should be a way where they can just move the pool.
Right, I'd love to do it again. You know,
move the pool from the pit when you're done. We can move back, and then I'll move the front for you.
Yeah.
Because it's so weird trying to mosh. It was so weird trying to mosh around a pool. Because I didn't. My one rule is I don't want to put anyone in this pool. I don't want to put anyone in this pool at all because that's jello. I have really nice hair.
Yeah.
I don't want to fuck it up.
I remember looking at Fred, and our friend Matt was going to take him home, and I was like, he's drenched full of jello. I mean, he just went into that pool. So have fun with that, man.
Yeah. I definitely had to clean my truck out when I was the next morning. I was like, oh man, it smelled like shit off-brand jello too.
Fred was so annihilated, he just went home and slept. He's like, I remember waking up and I was just all sticky from head to toe. Oh man, I bet that was the worst.
Oh god, I bet it was.
On top of the hangover,
Absolutely disgusting. But I actually do remember like half of your side at least.
Hey, that's all right.
Yeah, no, I really think you guys have gotten tighter and tighter as time has progressed onward, which is always a great thing. And I really do feel like you guys are one of those bands right now that has a really high potential threshold because of the fact that you're more than willing to do these open-ended shows and play with all these other bands, and maybe some bands wouldn't really want to stick on and play with, which is always a plus for bands. I mean, if they can kind of get out of their funk and try to meld around. I really feel like you guys have started doing that early on. And it does, and the great thing is that inexperience in a way kind of gave you an advantage. Because you're like, okay, well, I really don't have a huge bias right now. Mm-hmm. I can just, I'm down to do this show, I'm down to do this show. And you may hear some shit like, oh, that promoter, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, okay, but the thing is, we're just being booked. You know? There's, look, okay. Sometimes the guy who you give your money to at the door, sometimes he did something pretty bad back in the day. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe the fucking sound dude did something pretty harsh back in the day. Maybe the fucking promoter did something pretty harsh back in the day. They have a job. I got a job.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do that fucking job. Like I ain't trying to run up in the community, in the scene, and try to fucking nitpick at what everyone's fucking is or what they've done. I thought the whole point of the scene was to get away from that kind of shit.
Right.
But again, yeah, you guys definitely have that really high potential threshold.
Thank you.
Of course. So I guess going into it, like as someone who's been playing guitar, what are some of your influences that have kind of like driven you to play guitar? And then what has driven you, in style-wise, to kind of form Weapon of Regret and the sound behind it?
I guess when it started to take off as far as guitar playing, because I learned like anybody AC/DC chords, stuff like that. As far as like really getting guitar together, Megadeth was the biggest influence. Just being at home and getting into that thrash phase that will never ever go away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody, as an aspiring musician, is going to go through that phase sometime. My friend Nate said it best. He's like, "So what age were you when you hit your big 4 phase?" But I'd like to say Megadeth was it, and then I've always I like guitar work, so Bullet for My Valentine, Lamb of God, Children of Bodom, Arch Enemy, In Flames. Those European death metal bands were one of my biggest influences. I just like, and Trivium too, of course.
Yeah.
Just the way I love harmonizing guitars.
They came recently, or last week.
Yeah, we were there last Saturday at Gas
right.
Monkey Bar and Grill. Hell of a show to be in a small venue like that.
Hell of a show to be in that fucking weather.
It wasn't that bad.
Oh, really wasn't?
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
I've noticed that. When you first go to shows like that, it's really hot. And then for some reason, when a lot of people are just around each other, I swear to God, I don't know. Maybe because you just get numb to it eventually. You're just like,
right.
Fuck it.
See, they had the Misters on and, Goodbye Kilter. That's who I bought the tickets off of.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I bought mine or whatever, off Trivium or was it Fly? Ticket Fly. Okay, yeah. Bought that. Fred wanted to go. I was like, well, hell, it's sold out, buddy. What do you want to do? And luckily the local band, Goodbye Kilter, which I've seen before, really good rock band, they opened it off. And, I got my ticket from them. But they had the Misters out, drank some beer, man, wore shorts. We were good.
Okay. Sounds great.
It was a good time.
I do. I remember first discovering Trivium when I was like a teenager.
Yeah.
I discovered the Ascendancy album, and holy shit, the Ascendancy album still to this day is a really solid album. They're kind of hit or miss for me nowadays, but I heard that they remastered their first album, which if they did, holy shit, I would love to.
Inferno.
Oh my god, I would love to listen to that because I remember what's that? Oh, there's one song on there that was so stupidly sick. It was like my favorite Trivium song, and I've listened to it forever, and hasn't come back to me. I do remember being a huge fan of Shogun when Shogun came out. That album was absolutely insane.
Probably jam that on the way up here.
In Ways was pretty good too. Especially, I'm happy they brought Shattering the Skies Above because I remember they recorded it prior for God of War 2.
Yep.
If you believe it or not.
Dude, they played that.
Oh my god.
Stephanie CS called it. She's like, they're going to play it. And they sure did.
Stephanie's a really big Trivium fan.
Oh, yeah.
I remember we hung out one time. I took her to lunch, and holy shit. Yeah, I think we had a Trivium discussion for like 20 minutes. If you're watching this, girl, much love.
I bet you did.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I remember they wrote that song for God of War 2. And like the recording was kind of rough, like quality-wise. Like like when you try to find it on YouTube back then, it was so rusty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, who did they get to record this? A goat? And then they brought it back on that album. Man, it sounded so killer on that album.
Right.
It was so good. That's a band that even though I'm not a super huge fan of their new material, they still have they still kept to what they're doing. Like the harmonization.
Always come back to Trivium.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, the harmonization of like their instruments and kind of like in general their concepts. They do a really good job of that, and they blew the fuck up quick.
They did.
They're on a really quick high rise, and they're still kind of riding it. Though it may fade just because of the fact that it's been a high rise for so long.
They're like on the 8th album or something like that.
Yeah. They went from up and comer to pretty much a staple now, like which is always great.
Mm-hmm.
Because really at this point in the game, with the oversaturation of heavy music in general,
mm-hmm.
And plus the fact that mainstream still doesn't fully recognize it, which
Yeah.
is fine, which
Mhm.
is great which I still find to be a good thing.
Because it's our thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and so, you know, I think that's the highest level that extremely heavy bands can get to, is being a staple, is being a band that's able to tour around the world, and reap really good sources from it. You probably wouldn't be able to do it over and over and over and over again, but I mean, it's there. You know what I mean? I think a band like Ghost is a huge exception. I'm not even a fan of the Scooby-Doo band.
Yeah.
But
I listened to some songs and I accept they're a talented band.
Oh, very.
That's a good band.
Yeah.
You know, in all reality, Tobias Forge, phenomenal singer.
Oh yeah, really good voice. Yeah, I guess I'm just super critical. But it seems like, it seems like you can't. But it seems like it's hard to get to that level now. It's hard to get to that stadium playing, stadium selling out level.
Yeah.
Unless you follow the exact formula that bands that are played on the Eagle and the Edge are doing. If you're not writing that formula, then it's going to be hard. And even if you are writing that formula, and we have some bands that write that formula in the scene,
Yeah.
it's still difficult for them.
Yeah.
So it's all a matter of just the fact that there's a huge oversaturation, and it's a gift, and it's a double-edged sword. It's a gift and it's a curse.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Because I mean, it's gifted because we can go to a show pretty much every weekend if we wanted to, and we're going to see some talent. It's like some really talented people.
Oh yeah.
But the disadvantage to that is, well, which show do you want to go to? This one or this one or this one or this one or this one?
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember I did my house party on the 6th of July, and you're like, fuck, what time is it going to be over? I want to try to make it. I'm like,
There was no way I was going to be able to do
exactly,
it.
yeah, because of the because you were playing trees at that time, and yeah, it was just like, you know, people were so conflicted, and they're always so conflicted. Like, I remember we played the Embalmed Return show last year in July. There's another equally just badass show going on in Tomcats in Fort Worth with Demon Seed and Horror of Bethlehem and Asylum and
I think I remember that being advertised. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that big deal. And our show was a big deal too. So you had these two super hard hitting metal shows, and everyone's like, "What the fuck, dude?"
It's always hard, you know, when you've got, say, you got a band over in Fort Worth and then one in Dallas. What are you gonna do? You know, it throws total conflict in the air. I remember, I think it was a couple of months ago, I went to go see the guys in Awaken to Remember had started Volcella, a little heavier band. Awaken to Remember is a rock band. They were playing at the Dirty 30, and I caught them. Ran down to Curd Club, and I caught our boys Deceived by the Fallen. They're from Waco, Texas. We befriended them not too long ago. And Dispositions, I wanted to see them again.
Yeah.
And then from there, I headed down to Reno's. So I caught about, maybe 4 or 5 bands that night.
Like 3 shows.
It was accomplished in 3 venues.
But I remember seeing this Disposition once. It sounds like they're a band that's really getting up there, because I actually remember seeing them. They replaced a band. Yeah, they replaced Demon Seed that night. Because that was when Home Dude got that's when Chase got in that car accident, fucked his leg up, and so Demon Seed had to kind of back out on that show. And Dispositions took up the mantra, and they played first. And the highlight of them, I remember, was the singer will like dance, like he literally danced, and I was already drunk because why not? And that I was laughing, not because I thought it was stupid, because I actually thought that is the coolest thing. He's dancing. He's like literally doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, he's literally making music where he can just literally jig to on the stage. And he's doing this in like a suit. Like as if he just came out of a fucking meeting about fucking stock ratings and shit. Swear to God. I don't remember much of their music, but I do remember that aesthetic. Good job. I don't know who the fuck you are. Good job. Come on the podcast so we can talk about your dancing, please. But yeah, I think Jameson White, formerly of Cutthroat, joined that band.
He did.
Jameson's a great guy.
I met him that night at that concert, and yeah, great guy, man.
Super.
Really cool.
Yeah, he was on the Cutthroat episode when I had Cutthroat on about all those months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he's a really big MMA fan. We were talking about Pride.
Okay.
Pride fighting championship, like fights, like how everyone was fucking juiced out to the gills. Yeah, fucking Fedor Emelianenko, bald Russian dude with no fucking facial expression, just knocking people dead.
Right.
God, like see, I love having those discussions with people because it's like, holy shit, dude, you like this too? It's like Dungeons, like ever since I post a shit ton about Dungeons and Dragons on PDF, like I get so many fucking messages and comments, like, dude, I want to learn.
That's like, me and Joseph and Stephanie with the whole, and Lloyd, the wrestling thing, that's our thing that, besides metal, oh, you like this too, and it just gets out.
The wrestling thing is really big in the metal community.
It is. Kerry Von Erich said it best in an interview I heard, and it's like wrestling and rock and roll just go hand in hand.
Yeah, that's the Iron Skull thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, don't they have a house? Or didn't they have a house in, like, off of, it's like an hour and a half.
Lake Ray Hubbard or something like that?
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half from here.
I mean,
every time we drive to Paris, Texas to visit my grandma, we pass by that house.
Really? Okay, okay.
And I think that's where they were at when they were kids. I could be wrong. This is what my grandmother and my parents always told me.
So my dad said he did electrical work out there before they were even wrestlers. They were just kids,
Yeah.
Fritz's house or whatever, Fritz Von Erich.
Yeah.
And so I want to say it's somewhere out there by the lake. It's just been so long.
Yeah, it has.
If you're a wrestling fan in Texas, you definitely know about the Von Erichs at least.
Yes, you do. That was like a first huge household name in wrestling for us. I do remember when I was a kid watching some of their tapes. It was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I remember the first pay-per-view I ever bought of wrestling was, because I believe it was a pay-per-view, correct me if I'm wrong, when Undertaker fucking threw Mankind through the fucking Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
That was my first.
It was like the King of the Ring or something like that. From 96 maybe. Don't quote me.
Yeah, dude, I was 2. And my 2 or 3 or 4, my dad bought that, and there's like a photo of me just like I had the fucking TV.
Is this real?
and fucking Mankind it was like at the beginning of the match when Mankind was just through the table at the first 15 seconds of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Holy shit, that was nuts. Rewatching it, that was nuts. And then I remember the next one I bought, it's been a minute, was when Steve Blackman, the fucking karate dude, and Shane McMahon were up on that fucking tower, and Shane just went, like, holy shit.
Smacked him with that kendo stick, and it was just all over from there.
Man, I will say, it of course, obviously, people now know it's scripted, but fuck, those people put their body through fucking wear and tear.
Yeah, most definitely.
Fuck.
In the end, you still have to be a super athlete to do that.
You do. I mean, there's a reason why those guys are fucking jacked. Like, before CM Punk actually went to the UFC, like, if you actually looked at his physique while he was wrestling, he looked a lot leaner and a lot healthier.
Yeah.
Obviously, because he was probably taking something to help out, to kind of give him a little extra something to help out with the falls and whatnot.
Right.
And, with the UFC, you have to use USADA. And, you're always having these really hardline drug tests going on, make sure everyone's clean. So he looked dehydrated in the 2 fights he was in.
Part of that is from the, did you see the whole court case they had?
Yeah.
Between him and that doctor? He got some kind of staph infection, and that's what really lowered his health.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember the week before he fought Mike Jackson, which is recently. He settled that finally in court.
Yeah, he sure did. It was like a week before or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was the week of. I could be wrong. But yeah, he settled it out, and then 3 days later, he fought Mike Jackson. And I mean, watching that fight, I respect CM Punk for doing it, because as someone who has done MMA, it's a fucking hard sport.
I'm sure.
It is fucking hard.
I'm sure.
And he had a great trainer. Duke Rufus is a fucking stud who trains people like Anthony Pettis, Sergio Pettis, so many fucking killer ass, Eddie Gordon, I believe. I'm not sure, but so many killers. But I think CM Punk, as dedicated as he is, I think don't think it's for him. And I think that Mike Jackson fight showed it.
Yeah.
Especially when Mike Jackson was kind of fooling with them, which was stupid on Mike Jackson. Mike Jackson should never fight in the UFC again because of that.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to show that you're good, then show that you're good. Because you have the same record as CM Punk right now. You're 0-1.
Right.
So fucking show.
Yeah, I think, you know, he just wanted to try it, and it didn't work out, you know, but you tried it.
Yeah, he did, and that's what matters. Because if you don't try it, and this is an in general thing, if you don't try something, then the only thing you're going to have is regret for not trying it.
That's true. Very true. Hence, you know, why I started a band. I never thought, if you told me back in 2012, 2013, hey, you know, eventually you'll start a band and you guys are going to play trees, I'd be like, no, get the fuck out of here, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy, man, to see all the hard work pay off and to see where we are, you know, in our second year.
So what
it's cool, man.
are the future plans for Weapon of Regret? Any upcoming shows? Any plans for writing? What have you got working?
Future plans. So next week, August the 5th at 2513 Deep Ellum, which was the door. We're playing in a battle of the bands. It's 10 bands. The winner goes to the Summer Slaughter tour.
That.
Yeah, and it's just a performance slot, and you know, we don't know if it'll be in Dallas, San Antonio, or Houston at all.
We got a message to do it. We declined because we weren't ready.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, you know, we just got Kenny on board, so you know, we do
Yeah,
have
I
shows.
saw that you got the drummer worked out, huh?
Yeah,
that's
he's really
awesome.
good.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. You'll definitely like him.
And I guess after that, since we picked up Noah and only had taken a month break when we got him, it's just been shows nonstop. Maybe, you know, we'll do 1 a month, 2 a month, or 3 a month. But still, it just kept going, and we kept telling ourselves, like, we need to take time to actually get the album recorded, you know, instead of having the demos. That's been our biggest flaw, and we want to correct that and get the music out so someone has something to listen to. And so I guess you'll see, you know, whatever happens after this Battle of the Bands, whether we win or not, we're still going to go into the studio and we're going to take our time with it at least and get something out, you know, a product that we're real proud of, something that everybody will enjoy, and we'll finally get it out to the public, man. And
well, you let me know when you do a CD release show.
I will do that.
Because certain band wouldn't mind opening up for it.
Cool. We'll
Fuck yeah.
definitely make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. So it'll take a couple of months, I'm sure, and we'll just start sending it out, you know, to different record companies, radio shows, and just see who comes to the party.
Fuck
Go
yeah.
from there.
This is Brandon Cohen. I appreciate you, sir, for coming on.
Thank you, Billy.
Learning your strut. Unfortunately, there will not be an episode next week. I have to take care of something. But the week after, the next episode, I'm bringing on a big fella, the biggest of the fellas. And he has no idea why I'm bringing him on. But when I announce who it is, everyone's like, of course you need to have him on. What the fuck? He's the only person who doesn't fucking realize it, so we need to make him realize it. This has been DFW Metal Mayhem, the most brutal podcast in the Metroplex.